Hey, this is an impromptu video. I'm filming on my iPhone today because I'm actually driving in West Knoxville and found a new construction site of an apartment complex. So right behind me is the new apartment complex being built, and this should be an alarm for all small landlords in Knoxville. Do you think there is still a housing shortage for tenants, or do you think in the next couple of years we're going to have an abundant amount of supply compared to demand? I'll say that just leaving Oak Ridge myself, I lived out there for about 3 years with my wife because rent was getting so high in Knoxville that it was way cheaper to have a luxury apartment, in Oak Ridge, like hundreds of dollars a month cheaper than if we were in Knoxville at the same unit. So when we were out there, it was getting filled up, rent was going up every single year. And as we left and we moved out of Oak Ridge, the property management company at that location was offering free first month rent, waived security deposits, maybe even lower requirements for applicants to move forward with the process. So we are seeing in the market a kind of a shift in supply and demand already, and these units, I believe, are not even for rent yet. So this is just hundreds of more units in our city getting ready to be put on the market. It may or may not saturate the opportunities that you have as a small landlord. And so I wanted to make sure we put this video out as soon as possible for you. What I wanted to go over is that you need to start thinking in defensive ways and tactical ways of defending your cash flow. And with these properties, they come with a lot of amenities. They're gonna have weight rooms, pools, potentially hot tubs, pet parks, and luxury views per se, garages on the first floor right down there that you'll be able to rent. A lot of things that consumers are going to want, and these will go for the top dollar square foot. Talking $2 to even $3 a square foot is not unheard of. And so when it comes to your rental property that may be a multifamily or even single family, you need to start thinking about how you're going to stand out. A lot of times you get onto YouTube and you're looking at Airbnb rentals and how unique they are, and all these short-term property managers trying to teach you how to create that experience. And it doesn't stop at the short-term rental market. It can be in the long term. So with long-term rentals, we want to do the same thing. We want to create enough of a unique experience that we have demand. And luckily, you don't have to be that creative. There are things that I'm gonna start suggesting to my own landlords that I manage for with Stonebrook that will allow them to keep tenants happy and also stay away from vacancies, because that's the number one thing that kills you. I always talk about that in all these videos. Vacancies create no revenue and they come with a lot of cost, because every new tenant that moves into that property wants it cleaned and prepped for them. So when you're not having rent brought in to the property, you're oftentimes spending money out the back door to get it prepped for that next consumer. The nice thing is we don't have to be super creative with ways of creating demand around a single family rental or a small multifamily property. Fences are the number one thing I'm encouraging landlords to bring, because if you can provide a private backyard, that is something that no apartment complex can ever bring to their consumer. All of these units behind me, in front of me, they have shared common spaces that are beautiful. You're gonna have a shared weight room, a shared pet park, a shared pool, and a shared parking lot. And so if you can have private access to similar things like a driveway, a garage, or a backyard, and bring the privacy to that property, you'll have a product that has a smaller pool of supply, so that the demand will be greater at all times. And right now I'm actually working with one of my landlords that has a unique duplex just north of Knoxville. Talk on the numbers on whether it makes sense to install a fence behind the property and actually put a center fence line down it, so there's 2 private backyards, one for each unit. It's starting to look actually like the numbers are going to make sense because the tenants are agreeing to larger and larger rent rates. And that is exciting because not only does it delay a vacancy, these tenants are going to sign a lease, stay for another 12, 18 months hopefully, but it'll also increase the rent in total. So not only did you avoid the vacancy, but you actually increase rent. And so fences, that conversation proves that fences can bring so much value to a property because, once again, everything behind me, like I believe this is going to be the pool potentially, it's all common space, so you have no privacy. And so if you get privacy with a pet or a child, that is priceless for that customer, tenant. So thanks for jumping on. Definitely want to hear your thoughts on, are these getting built everywhere around Knoxville and it's becoming too much? Or do we still have a ton of demand? Leave your comments down below, click the bell, subscribe, make sure that you're following along my journey as a property manager. Stoneberg Properties, I own that brokerage and we manage just over 222 units. So crazy to think that this has more units than I even manage all across Knoxville.